Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakah Kwadash, and double honor to the apostles of the great millstone, and as well as giving the salutations thereof towards the Akim that's furthering this truth worldwide. Shalom to the brothers and the sisters on the side, continuing to heed and growing right along with us in the spirit of Yahushua. Now, I want to get into this subject matter once again concerning the prophecy that we're expecting, the most important prophecy of them all, the implantable devices. And, people will say what they got to say about us and speaking about this subject matter, because this prophecy is going to open other prophecies to come in to end this civilization. And that's all I have to say. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into this article over here from the Fox 5 News, which is a news station in New York. Biohacking humans, people implanting chips in hands and heads. It's a technological advancement that seemed incomprehensible a generation ago and now appears inevitable. From a microchip implanted subdermally to a robot learning to imagine itself and its own purpose, and a tiny microprocessor implanted directly on the brain. So as I just read right there, this device can be subdermally implanted, and as well as it can be implanted directly to the brain. So when you think of the term subdermal, which means under the skin, you're thinking of it being implanted in different parts of the body, but usually you think about it being implanted in your hands. All right, whether it's your right hand or your left hand. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to read Revelations 13 and 16. Just going to jump right into it. And he calls of all, let's get to the point, verse 17. Revelations 13 and 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, and receiving mark in their right hand or in their forehead, which is the brain. What's in front of the brain? What's behind the forehead? The brain. So this article, out of many that I've read so far, they're actually telling you that they have chips for the brain and as well as chips for your hands and other parts of the body too, that you can use, which they're going to infuse you with, as it just reads, because it actually explains it. Our lives are going to be intertwined with robots and AI, increasingly in complex ways that we can't even imagine today, said Columbia University engineering and data science professor Hart Lipson. He describes it as an inevitable fusing of the physical and the digital worlds in his robotics and labs on the Manhattan campus. Groundbreaking projects are underway. We want robots to understand what they are and how they move and how they operate, he said. It's sophisticated machine learning, allowing the robot to literally wake up and discover itself. With that knowledge, it can imagine itself into the future, he said. It's an extension of human thought, allowing mankind and machine to exist more efficiently. So to the simple mind, this sounds interestingly exciting. Something out of a sci-fi film that we've all seen out of many that they've made throughout the years. But this is an evil, wicked invention, because the elites, they want way more control and more power than they already have already. And to really be honest with you, we don't really care if it's a righteous invention or a wicked invention. What we're focusing on is Revelations 13, 16, and 17 coming to pass, the way it's explained in these two verses. The device that they have is going to be omnipotent, to where you're going to need this device to be able to correspond with the new world order, which is what they're now usually calling the Great Reset. Okay, all will lead to the MOTB, the mark of the you know what. And what I want to do is I want to change the topic just a little bit, which really I'm not changing the topic. I'm just dealing with a different article here concerning what South Korea is doing and showcasing. So I'm going to read a little of this article as well, and then we're going to get to the precepts. South Korea aims to boost economy with digital IDs on blockchains, and then I'll get back and reading the other half of this, because there's another point that I want to read on this article as well. But let's just read a little of this, and then we'll get back to this as well. Government to allow smartphones to replace existing ID cards. Korea sees economic value of digital IDs at around 3% of GDP. South Korea plans to offer a digital identity secure by blockchain to citizens with a smartphone as it taps into the world's most tech-savvy population to boost economic growth. So this is the selling point here to those that are aware, or to those that are unaware, of this blockchain technology concerning the digital ID. All right, because the narrative now, which is what they're spinning here, is we're in a recession. Like, we're not even in a recession, but we are actually in a recession ever since going back to 2008. And we've never been out of the recession. But the media is now spinning this narrative that we are back in a recession. And if they don't do something about this, then society can collapse, which this is what they're doing by purpose any doggone way. Right? They're going to collapse this old world system and bringing in the new world order system. And in that doing so, they're going to sell to you that, see, look what South Korea is doing with this digital ID blockchain thing. And as they're selling now in this article here is the fact that you can boost your economy just by 3%. So this sounds like a reasonable way to go about things and getting involved in using the digital identity. All right, which is in relation to the MOTB, the implantable device. It's all in conjunction. Digital identity secure by blockchain to citizens with a smartphone as it taps into the world's most tech-savvy population to boost economic growth. Smartphone implanted IDs are among the latest emerging technologies underpinning a digital economy that has expanded as more people work from home, make cashless payments, and explore the metaverse. Digital IDs simplify verification on the web, removing the need to photograph certificates or log in via authentication codes sent by text instead. Activities like applying for state benefits, transferring money, or even casting a vote are just a pen or a fingerprint away. So this is what they're showing you now, how it's increasing the GDP. As you can see, you have Brazil, Nigeria, Ethiopia, India, China 4%, US 4%, UK 3%. So again, this looks like something that the world really should get involved in. Okay, but again, this is a plot. This is a plan anyway for the world to come under, so that the central bankers can then create a world where everything is being monitored and measured. Cryptid currencies, which the term cryptid means hidden. So rather than using hand-to-hand currencies, rather that digital currencies. And all of this is paving right into the way to the implantable devices. Okay? And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Like I said, we don't care if this is an evil invention of Esau, and we know exactly what the wicked plan of the elite is for this, right here. But we don't care. All we care about is prophecy. Okay. So anyway, this goes as far as to read. With that knowledge, it can imagine itself into the future, he said. It's an extensive of human thought, allowing mankind and machine to exist more efficiently. Robotics used to be something like, okay, maybe you had a vacuum cleaning robot, step over it or you move on. But now it's going to be everywhere, Lipson said. There's drones. You're going to trust your life to a self-driving car. You're going to trust the life of your children to a robot. I mean, this was unthinkable just a few years ago, and it's inevitable. And if that's a Norse concept of man's evolutionary machine, what Brandon the Lady is doing is much more direct. And Brandon the Lady, if you can remember, he was on the media at one time showing that he had a Tesla chip implant where he can open up his car doors without even touching it, and as well as opening up his house door and many other things he was able to do. Okay. And Brandon the Lady, all he is a man to showcase or to demonstrate the many possibilities of this technology, exciting the minds of the simple to one day find this to be very interesting and as an okay thing to accept, because this is going to be the new instrument that they're going to use for the new world order system, which ties all the way back to prophecy. And this is what we're expecting, which will then eventually bring in the time of the temptation, because you're going to have a lot of people that know that this is the mark of the you know what, but yet and still they're going to wind up taking it for the sake of having to take care of their family members or their children or whoever, or even including themselves. All right. And ultimately those that believe in the word of Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai continually in those days will escape, will be kept from the hour of temptation. Revelations 3 and verse 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all of the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So everyone's going to know, or they're going to know enough that this device isn't good to take. But people are still going to fall through and take it because they really didn't believe in the higher power. But the elect are not going to take it because it's in them not to take it. Because for the longest time, they've always known about the devices of the wicked. They've always been aware and understood all things. Proverbs 28 and verse 5, evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. So because we understand all things, we will not be taken by the devices, which involves the things concerning prophecy, which Yahweh Shai revealed unto us, as it is written in the book of Revelations, the 19th chapter. Revelations 19 and verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. And that's the spirit that we have, is the spirit of prophecy. So this is why, as I'm going to read this again, evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things, because we understand prophecy. So we won't be taken by the devices of the spiritual demon Satan, which one of them is the implantable device, which involves prophecy right there and there. You see? So let me read this as well. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Going back to Proverbs 28 and verse 5, because we understand all things. And Lord willing, we uphold the doctrine at the very end of it all. And then that we are kept from the hour of temptation, which will try the world. And really what the world is referencing to, it's referencing to, from a global standpoint, I believe. Let me look up the word world, because I believe it's oinklemeni. But then I could be wrong. but I believe I'm not wrong. So let me look into that. Revelations 3, verse 10. Let's look up this word world. Absolutely, it's oikoumene.
Strong's G 3625. Oikoumene. Oikoumene.
Oikoumene. The inhabited of earth, the inhabited earth, the portion of the earth inhabited by the Greeks, in distinction from the land of the barbarians, the Roman Empire, all the subjects of the empire, the whole inhabited earth. Yeah, so it just means the whole entire earth. So the whole world is going to be tried over this implantable device. And B is absolutely correct. The Roman Empire, all subject of the empire, because we're under the last leg of the Roman Empire. All right. So the whole world globally is going to be tried. And this is going to be for Israel. The 2/3 of Israel, and this one is the 1/3 of Israel. All will be tried. All will be under this temptation, whether they're going to accept the mark or not. Because the way they're going to push it is going to be to the point where you're going to have to take it in order for you to be operable for society. All right. And this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. So I close and I say shalom. Oh, and I can't forget. Let me read Deuteronomy 11 and verse 16. Take heed to yourselves that your heart be not deceived, and ye turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And we're wide awake. We've already taken heed, and Lord willing, we continue to stay in that mindset of taking heed, because it's our power that's going to drive this devil to initiate his device, the final device, which is going to bring an end to this civilization. So that's all I have to say in that. With that, I want to close. Officially, I say shalom.